The only song that almost didn't make that album was Mini Man.
Wow!
And it was because of the tempo.
Broke my heart.
It was slower than the other records, I wanted to keep.
Wow, 50 Cent is having a field day right now because Rick Ross just made a move so outrageous, the internet can't stop buzzing. The word on the street is Ross pulled a slick one, allegedly scamming Big Meech out of something major. Meech is beyond livid, and rumors are flying that he might have even put a hit on Ross. Yes, it's that intense. But the real kicker? Everyone saw it coming. Everyone except Big Meech. This whole drama is unfolding online like the explosive finale of a juicy reality show. Fans are glued to every twist and turn, hanging onto every update as if it's breaking news. Let's be real. What did Meech actually expect from someone with a past as a corrections officer? That kind of loyalty was always shaky, and anyone who's been paying attention isn't even surprised. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is turning the internet into his personal comedy stage. He's taking potshots at Big Meech and Lil Meech all over social media, trolling like it's his day job. Ever since Rick Ross betrayed him, 50's been on a relentless roasting spree. But here's the wild part. Big Meech was cozying up to Rick Ross like Ross was his hero. Right after he got out of prison, instead of keeping things low-key or showing gratitude to the people who actually stayed loyal, Meech went full fan mode over Ross. And let's not forget, Meech knew full well that Ross and 50 have been at each other's throats for years. It's not like 50 expected Meech to start throwing punches or anything, but still, come on! Big Meech was grinning ear to ear in photos with Ross, acting like Ross had been his rock all those years behind bars. That must have felt like a knife straight to 50's throat. But it didn't end there. Meech took it a step further, teaming up with Floyd Mayweather, another one of 50's old rivals. And as if that wasn't enough, Lil Meech was out here acting petty, despite the fact that 50 handed him $5 million and an entire career on a silver platter. For real, is that how you repay someone who completely changed your life? That's not just disrespect, it's ice cold. Sure, some folks like to claim that 50 Cent made millions off Big Meech's name, but at least he built something tangible from it. A hit TV show, a platform, a legacy. And then there's Rick Ross. What did Ross really do for Meech? Treat him like a pawn in some clout-chasing chess game? Ross played his cards smart. He knew exactly what kind of chaos this would cause and milked it for every headline, feeding his ego with each calculated move. But the moment things got too hot, Ross pulled the oldest trick in the book. He vanished. Suddenly, he's talking about some mysterious shoulder injury. Really? We're supposed to feel bad for him now? The internet wasn't buying it for a second. Everyone saw it for what it was. A convenient excuse to duck all the heat and step away from the drama without saying a word. Here's the real kicker. That shoulder injury wasn't just about faking sympathy. Nope. Ross used it to put distance between himself and Big Meech without having to own up to anything. It's a cold move, but a classic Ross maneuver. Using that injury excuse wasn't just about dodging responsibility, it was about making a quiet exit, all while leaving Meech out to dry. Ross wasn't just ducking his drama with Big Meech, he was dodging his own fans. Those same fans he duped with that shady boss token crypto scam. When it all fell apart, angry investors flooded the internet, branding him Rug Ross for yanking the rug out from under anyone who trusted him with their hard-earned cash. And when his crypto scheme tanked, Ross hit the ground hard. No safety net, no fallback plan. The timing, though, was just too convenient. Days after deceiving Big Meech and getting called out, suddenly Ross shows up with a busted shoulder. Suspicious, right? It screams strategic injury, a calculated excuse to slip out of the chaos without owning up to his mess. But it doesn't end there. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that Ross had been hyping Big Meech up, urging him to hit 50 Cent up for more money, stirring the pot and then backing away as if it wasn't his doing. The result? Meech ended up empty-handed, no deals, no respect, nothing. It's gotten so bad that other artists are steering clear of him, as though he's carrying some kind of curse, and those Wingstop franchises everyone thought Meech could profit from? Turns out Ross quietly sold most of them, keeping just a couple and funneling the cash straight into his real estate ventures. It's ruthless. If Ross hadn't stepped in with his smooth talk and underhanded moves, Big Meech might have had a real shot at reclaiming his place in the game. The streets were ready for it, Meech had the name, the story, the legacy. Instead, Ross drove the narrative into a ditch. And Lil Meech? He's been blowing through cash like it's going out of style, splurging on high-end Chrome Hearts jeans and luxury fits just to keep pace with the rap elite. Every move since teaming up with Ross has only taken them further off track. No budgeting, no business moves, just flex after flex. Now it's all gone. Fame, fortune, poof. People online aren't holding back, roasting Big Meech for how quickly his so-called friendship with Rick Ross went up in flames. One moment, it's all cozy pictures and flashy promises. The next, it's utter chaos. And the loudest voice in the fray? Michael Rainey Jr. He didn't pull any punches, bluntly saying he feels no pity for either Lil Meech or Big Meech. In his eyes, they're grown men who should have seen the setup from a mile away. Then there's 50 Cent, loving every second of it. He's lurking online, dropping sharp comments, laughing it up, and basically telling the world, "I told you so." It's like he's been waiting for this moment to flex on everyone involved, and he's not holding back. Once you cross 50, it's game over. Even DJ Vlad co-signed this energy. He flat out said it. 50 Cent is the last person you want to have beef with. He'll torch the whole building just to make a point, and he won't think twice about it. And let's be real, Big Meech isn't even the first person Ross has left hanging. Ross has a history of abandoning people. Remember when he left his own crew stranded in Canada, where they got jumped and dealt with dirty? Ross just dipped out. Later, he tried to brush it off as some kind of test to see how tough they were. Who does that? That's not leadership. It's calculated chaos. And that's exactly how Ross operates. He'll smile in your face, then disappear the moment things get messy. It's always about self-preservation. Ross plays the long game, but only for himself. Everyone else? Completely expendable. Even Whack 100 had to call him out, pointing out that Ross was the real villain in this entire debacle. Whack saw it coming from day one. Whack 100 didn't mince words when he called out Ross for playing both sides and setting Big Meech up to fail from the start. Let's face it, Rick Ross was never a true ally to Meech. From the beginning, he had his own agenda. He hyped Meech up, made him feel like they'd conquer the game together, while quietly turning him against the only person who actually gave him a real platform, 50 Cent. Ross dangled glittering promises, talking big about money moves, flashy business ventures, and major plans. But when it came time to deliver, it was just empty talk. And sure, not everyone vibes with Whack 100, but in this instance, he got it right. If Ross had truly wanted to help Meech rebuild, he would have kept things quiet, handled business behind the scenes, and protected the money. Instead, Ross went full volume, mocking 50 online, bragging about buying the rights to the BMF series, and shoving Meech into a spotlight he clearly wasn't ready for. That wasn't help. That was sabotage disguised as friendship. Deep down, Ross knew he was never going to make good on those promises. And now, none of it's happening. Ross has gone silent when it comes to Meech. No posts, no mentions, just crickets. The only thing he's focused on now is whatever lines his own pockets. Big Meech? He's no longer part of that equation, and that's what's leaving everyone completely floored. Rumors are swirling that Rick Ross was the real reason Big Meech's Welcome Home benefit concert got shut down. All this time, folks were blaming 50 Cent, but now it looks like Ross was pulling the strings in the shadows. Why? Simple. He didn't want Meech to shine. He couldn't handle the idea of Meech stepping back into the spotlight and reclaiming his place. Ross wanted to play the public good guy while making sure Meech stayed in the background. That's the kind of betrayal that hits on a whole different level. When 50 Cent finally broke his silence with that now deleted post, it was like a thunderclap. I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am. It wasn't just a response, it was a mic drop. He knew the truth, and now so does everyone else. People doubted 50 at first, but suddenly, everything started to fall into place. Big Meech truly believed Ross was in his corner, especially after that infamous BMF track where Ross rapped, "I think I'm Big Meech." Wild, right? But here's the real question. What if Rick Ross didn't just admire Meech? What if he wanted to be him? Think about it. Ross built his whole image on the stories of real-life street legends, especially kingpins. That's not a conspiracy. That's documented history. He even took his stage name from the real freeway Rick Ross, a notorious drug boss who was behind bars at the time. And when the original Rick Ross got out, he didn't waste a second calling out the rapper for hijacking his name and identity, and even tried to sue him for it. The original Rick Ross, the real deal kingpin, had been building his name and reputation since the 1980s, and by the mid-2000s, it was clear the rapper Rick Ross was walking a very fine line. By 2010, the legal battle was fully underway. The lawsuits painted a picture that was hard to ignore. Ross, whose real name is William Leonard Roberts II, wasn't just inspired by the real Rick Ross. He was actively profiting off his legacy. The kingpin claimed the rapper had hijacked his name and identity, accusing him of trademark infringement. But Roberts played it cool, insisting he came up with the name on his own. Despite the real Rick Ross's attempts to reclaim his identity, the courts ultimately sided with the rapper. By 2013, a judge declared that his use of the name was protected by the First Amendment, free speech, plain and simple. It was a crushing blow for the original Ross, and from that moment on, Robert's stage name was locked in for good. With that in mind, it's not hard to see a pattern. Ross had already built a career off one street legend's name. Was it such a stretch to think he'd try the same play with Big Meech? He didn't just name-drop Meech in interviews. No, he went all in, dropping the BMF track and rapping as if he were Big Meech himself. This wasn't just homage, it was another move to borrow someone else's story to fuel his own image. And this wasn't the first time Ross had pulled something like this. Fast forward to 2021, and Ross was stirring up similar controversy around Larry Hoover, another iconic figure with a legacy in the streets. Despite Larry Hoover still being behind bars, Ross kept invoking his name in tracks, painting himself as someone with deep ties to that history. The clout chase was undeniable, and the streets took notice. But when it came time to step up, really step up, Ross was nowhere to be found. Word spread that Ross even spent millions to appease certain factions, like the Gangster Disciples, just so he could keep referencing Hoover without any pushback. But beyond that, crickets. When the moment came to back Hoover's cause in a meaningful way, Ross disappeared, leaving behind nothing but smoke and mirrors. This pattern of taking more than giving, of extracting clout without providing real support, started to feel less like coincidence and more like a calculated approach. No action, no real support, just more bars and big talk, profiting off another man's name. And people weren't about to let it slide. They tore into Ross across social media, calling him out as all bark, no bite. Some still claim he was too rattled to even show up at the stadium when it was time to put his money where his mouth was and actually stand behind Larry Hoover's cause. Fast forward, and it's the same song, different verse. Big Meech is now getting the same empty promises, the same false loyalty. History's on repeat. No wonder 50 Cent once said he's never respected Ross as a person. If we're being honest, Ross has a reputation for flipping the script the moment things don't go his way. For him, it's always about self-preservation. No exceptions. As for 50, he's probably sitting back right now, shaking his head and grinning. The irony of it all is that he didn't even have to lift a finger. This whole mess flipped on its own, and 50's out here doing what he does best, locking in new projects, stacking his money and making moves. Meanwhile, Big Meech and Lil Meech are allegedly bouncing from one celebrity to the next, looking for help just to stay in the game. It's like a game of musical chairs, except there's no chair waiting when the music stops. And here's the real kicker. Rick Ross had the audacity to clown 50, calling him broke and mocking his efforts to secure a loan for his movie studio. He even tried to flex as if 50's momentum had stalled out. But guess what? That loan just came through. Now 50's rolling full steam ahead, while Ross is stuck on the sidelines, forced to watch it all unfold. Fans are convinced Ross is somewhere punching the air right now, regretting all that smack talk. Looking back, it's almost laughable. Ross went on about buying 50's masters like that was even a real move. In hindsight, it sounds like pure fiction. The reality? 50 didn't just win this war. He never even had to step onto the battlefield. When it comes to Lil Meech and Big Meech, they've definitely taken some tough hits lately. But by the looks of it, the damage might already be done. 50 Cent's not showing any interest in helping Lil Meech again, and as for Big Meech, it seems like that bridge is burned for good. Another name that's been coming up a lot in all this chaos is Zip with the Drip. He saw it coming from a mile away. From the start, Zip had 50's back, flat out calling it. Rick Ross was going to flip on Big Meech eventually, and now that prediction is looking more solid than ever. Ross has bailed, and Big Meech is left picking up the pieces. Fans haven't held back either. Social media has been buzzing with people declaring that Meech's chance at a real comeback is dead in the water. The one solid opportunity he had to get back in the game, gone. And why? Because he threw in with the wrong people. It's baffling. After spending all that time locked up, you'd think he would have come out sharper, wiser, more strategic. Instead, it's like he came out swinging wildly, making one reckless move after another. One comment that keeps making the rounds says it all. Let me get this straight. You already know what's coming after that. A breakdown full of brutal honesty. A former corrections officer double-crossing someone who did real time? Predictable. And a man known for his two-faced moves getting played by someone just as two-faced? That's not just irony, it's karma. And this isn't some slow, creeping karma. This is karma served hot and fresh, right off the stove. Now, the big question on everyone's mind, what's Big Meech going to do next? Is he sitting back, quietly planning some sort of payback for Ross, or is he going to let this slide even though the whole internet is watching? And let's not forget, Meech has his own heat to deal with allegations flying that he turned on his childhood friend Cuff. So, is this betrayal coming full circle? Or is Meech just stuck in a storm of his own making? At this point, everyone's just watching and waiting. How will Meech respond? Will Ross keep ducking and dodging? And will 50 continue to sit back, laughing at the chaos? Whatever happens, the drama isn't slowing down. It's only getting messier and people can't look away.